So hello everyone, welcome to my review of Games episode 9. First of all, yes, there was a new ending. If I missed it earlier, yeah, but I looked at episode 7, they had an ending right, and I said that I'm watching it, like, yeah, it's a new ending, but I don't know if it mattered that much. It looked way sadder. It's like it's a great area, showing spectrum of emotions of the different female characters. And all, I guess mainly when I looked at the ending, I was like, what happened to the first ending? Or more like, did the first ending has any matter? Because I don't even remember it. And I looked at it now, I was like, yeah, whatever ending, there is school, nothing will happen. So I don't think the ending was very emotional. I know it felt like it's weird to have a new ending in episode like 9. Usually have it like in half a season, or when a season goes over, that's episode 13 or episode 6 usually. So either half of a summer of the season, this summer now, or like the beginning of the fall season, or something like that. So a really weird point to have it. Otherwise, you would have it at maybe like, this is the last episode, and we have a special ending for it. But this clearly isn't the last episode, like this is just a few more episodes. Luckily it's a few episodes left. So that, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that I'm gonna do this guess here. I was gonna educate the guess. I'm gonna guess that ending was supposed to be at episode 6 probably, or 7, probably at 6. And they didn't have the budget, or like it wasn't finished yet. So they're like, okay, we're gonna make it, it's half finished, let's put it in when it's finished. So that is my take on it. I think that makes more sense. Just from that alone, probably. Like they didn't have time to finish it. So anyway, this episode then, I found it a really good episode. I think it has I think it was better than last episode. Because last episode, I love every episode in Gamers. But last week, the board game, I did not like it much. The board game was kind of weak. It had a really good scene there, but Uruhara is trying to push away her phone, being like, get the phone away! And they're like, what are you doing? Nothing! Stretching! Like that was awesome. And of course, the end of it. But the actual board game disappointed me. The board game could be way better. As discussed with a friend yesterday, we were playing board. I was a board game, like a board game tournament kind of thing yesterday, whatever. And we discussed that with 2 other guys, also watching gamers, or 3 people actually, yeah, but like 2 first and 1 other guy left on, yeah. Everyone agreed that, yeah, that board game could have been so much more fun, like more anime and so on. So I think that this episode and this week is better. And the strength of it, I would say right away, I love the beginning there when Shaq's like, I'm not gonna be an anime girl. I'm not gonna be an anime girl. I love, this is me biased, but I love fourth wall jokes. So I love that she was like, no. Have you watched that sister? You know, have you watched like manga and anime? And the character like hates this person, then the person like a kitten or like protects the dog or something. And after that, they're like, oh, I'm gonna love him now. And also, I love how she's like Keta, bad boy delinquent. He's like this little nerdy, like really, you know, very nice guy. Never fights anyone. Yeah, like a nice, just like almost like more a coward, right? If anything, he's like a bad boy Keta. Like what? But anyway, yeah, she's like, I refuse to fall in love with this guy just because he was nice to me when I was like 10 making video games. I refuse to do that. I love that fourth wall and the whole meta thing. But of course, then she punches her sister. She's like, oh, this, yeah, Yama, producer. Don't talk back about my Yama. I was like, no, I love him. So I love that whole thing there. She's like, oh no, I do love him. I love him. I just fall into this like, yeah, collapse of like confusion of, yeah. That was great. That actually was the best scene of the whole episode. So started out very strong in my opinion. And then the second best scene was definitely the ending. And the ending, I really liked it in many aspects, but one thing that is really strong with the ending here is that this is like the definition of the essential feel of this anime game. Right? It starts pulling you in as like an e-sport anime, something like a gamer anime, and then it's like, oh, it's just pure relationship, pandemonium of triangle of weird stuff. But, and what it does all the time is like, if everything can go wrong, like Murphy's Law, that goes wrong. And it's also like the maximum version of this goes wrong. So of course, when Uruhara is like, oh, I pick you to be my fighter, it's like, he loves me! It's like, no! He means he picks you over Tendo. He's gonna bring up with Aguri. No, it doesn't say that at all! Yeah, of course, always like, absolutely worst way to interpret something is what happens always in gamers. I think that scene was great. Good like cliffhanger ending, but also just like, this is so essential, this anime. It's like, it's exactly what they're gonna do. And you just know that, okay, she's gonna misunderstand this. And Amao's like, I have to help my Aguri, because him and Aguri are like best friends, right? Kinda, yeah. So I was like the Aguri and Amano, like the coffee pointer, right? So he's gonna be like, I have to tell him my poor Aguri-chan, yeah, and so on probably. And it's gonna be completely misunderstanding it. And we're gonna be like, well, no, I've never said that. Probably next week. So that was good as well. I felt that the bad part of the episode wasn't like the episode wasn't perfect. Probably there wasn't like super funny. I felt some jokes were kind of like flat. More not like being bad. More like that was kind of funny, but it could be like more fun. I think that's an issue. Generally, I think like that. And one thing that I didn't like with the ending in itself, so is that I felt that they could have a little more time actually in Uruhara and like have some build up, it's more conflicted, because there was a small scene there. They was driving and thinking about it, but it was like 10 seconds. That probably could be like a minute or so, and he could be like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? And it's like, I have the perfect plan now. And then it's like completely misunderstood. It's always his perfect plan almost fails, right? I think that could have been a little more fun. If building up his like confidence is what he used to say. Because he seems sneezing like he's like, I told her and then I would never go to work. And he didn't seem to feel that he did something, like he said something that could be misunderstood. But as we see, it could be misunderstood. So I felt that he could have a little more time here. Because one thing I didn't like, I didn't hate it, but I thought that wasn't that good, was the whole like Amano and Shiaki at the convenience store. That could have been a little shorter, so I felt less time there, more time into the house build up, or just Aguri attempts to that. But I don't know, this is another thing in the episode in itself that had zero Aguri, which is not the first time, so I guess she's also like the fifth weed kind of. I also can't afford to live, she's my favorite character, but she's like, I guess she is kind of like that on the sidelines, a lot of times unfortunate. And instead, Konahao, the sister of Shiaki, I guess I should say. Well, it makes me sad about storyline saying that, like, but it was, yeah. But that, however, though, not having Tendo felt weird. So while I miss Aguri, not having Tendo felt more weird as a narrative, because Tendo has been always pretty much in some aspect of it. As she is kind of the glorious Hime-san, or the princess character, and she has been at least kind of like that. So the female main character, the other gender main character perspective sometimes. So this is the first time I felt she wasn't in it at all. There's like a second of flashback with her and Amano after played at Morgan Place. So that felt a little weird, yeah. Aguri wasn't really involved in the storylines until the last second where they think that Urahara's gonna break up with her. So that she wasn't in it, yeah, okay, fine. But it felt kind of weird that Tendo had 1 second of screen time there. As it felt like she was the female main character until this point, I guess. Not with Mark that that Shiaki is the female main character as opposed to. So that was a little weird, changing that perspective there, or the angle, perhaps. One thing though, I said the whole Korean story thing, which was the worst part of the episode. And I was saying it was bad, I was saying that was the worst part. Is that they went from this like super awesome fourth wall joke, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be an anime girl, I hate cliches. The next thing is like, oh, it's cliche. Oh, she goes to shopping and she meets the guy that she's like hate love, right? And it's like, oh yeah, of course. So that thing was the fortunate that they went from having a good fourth wall, a meta, like, okay, we're not gonna do this thing, and then they went to do it anyway. That was a little, because they went and did it the first time, but then it was funny because she was like aware of it. Like, no, they're forcing me into being an anime girl. I wanna be an anime girl. No, don't make it happen like that. So then it was funny, but the next time, no one's did anything, and that I felt okay. No, it's very cliche. That scene could have had her saying like, "Oh no, I met him at the convenience store. This is just so cliche. Oh god, I'm truly an anime girl now, a main character in an anime now." If she had said that in the monologue when they were eating that sugar thing, that would have made the scene way funnier. I would have loved that. If I wrote the story, I probably would have done it. I probably thought Wallet, yeah. So. I felt it was lacking. That scene to me was the low point of the episode. It wasn't bad, but it was just kind of mediocre. But yeah, everything's always Murphy Law. Tell me right. He says like, your body. Oh, my body. It's like, you're pale. You're without. Don't do. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm pale. Yeah. Like always that thing, right? So it's kind of like that. But her place was way better though, and especially I like the whole. I call it the George Costanza move, where she's like taking the transit to being like, oh, you wanna find this thing? I don't know where it is. Maybe you will stay here for a few hours and look for it. Stay here until you find it, which will take a few hours. And I can make leader or so. That kind of play, right? Because like in Seinfeld, you have this episode where George, which is the best character by 4 episodes of course, in every episode, he's like, oh, I'm gonna steal this girl's clock or something like that, and it steals it. It's like some ancient clock, and then she has to like call him, and he's like, "Oh, I think I might have it. If you come over to my place, we could take a look and maybe do something else." And he's like, fine. It's like he forced people to connect him by stealing the stuff and goes to the place, like accidentally takes the stuff and so on, or it's like some other episode. I think it's an episode. I think a woman is at his place, right? And she's like has her keys there and undresses and so on, right? And he like hides her like wallet or keys. So after she leaves the next day, he has to call him right in the evening. "Oh, I can't get home because I lost my keys somewhere. It might be your place." He's like, "Yeah, find them here. Why don't you come over and spend the night again? And it's late." Like, "I can find." So it's like that kind of play style, right? That kind of really like sick play style. I felt that she was like, "The transit card. Nope." Like, "Why don't you stay here? That's your bro. Whatever. Look at my stuff. Look at my your heart's content. Just stay here and be a good boy." It's like this seems okay. She's going there. So that was great. Unfortunately, that didn't go anywhere. That disappointed me though. Like it was really great to be seeing her sneaking away his car. That was really that scene was awesome, right? And the whole like. First she's like, "You pervert," or actually, "Look at them, that's kind of nice." It was like weird, kind of, do you have content back and forth there with like hating and loving him. First like, "Keta, you pervert." Actually, "Keta, be a pervert." It's like, that kind of thing. And that was really funny. But it actually, unfortunately, with the card, and here actually is one of my cards, here's my transit card, nice. She took the card, right, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm hiding it away, so you have to stay for a few hours." And like, sliding it in her bag. What's she do with it? No, she had it already, slightly in her pocket, right? Something like that, something like that. But that, unfortunately, that never went anywhere. That was sad. It felt like it started out really brilliant there, and then, of course, the whole PCC and her sister getting the blame, or the honor of being Norbert Momo, but it was never seen. And after that still was great, though. She was like, "You stay here for about 10 minutes. It's like, "What? No, stay here." And I was like, sister come back and like, "This is Nobo." Yes, hello. Like, yes, training her, like coaching her to what's gonna lie about. That was great. But unfortunately, after that scene, it was never like he said like, "Oh, can I leave now?" She was like, "Well, have you found your transit card yet?" "No, where is it?" "Maybe stay a few hours more to search." Like, that's a bit weird that never had like a place there. She was like forcing him to stay even longer, or like maybe hiding the card like under the sofa or something. Yeah, being like, "Why don't you search for it and I can help you?" And "Why you search? I can cook food for us." Something like that never like went anywhere, unfortunately. So that disappointed me because it started out really good there. And then however though I would say the scene with him and his sister were way better than the first like weird Queen store. First of all, they're both Aero game players, and I love that he's like, "I have to go and buy any Aero games so I can like train on my dating skills." It's like, that's how I got Flora stuff. It's how I gotta get Tendo, so that's good. And of course she's into Aero games, and they have this similar taste. She likes him with that. The whole I just like the whole like punching him, the frustration. You're like, "You're so stupid main character." She commented that last week, and she was like, "She's a typical main character, no social skills. God damn it!" I was like, "Oh, why don't you understand that I'm not Momo, you fool?" So I love that whole thing there. They're like punching him for all of us. So that was great. And of course, the whole thing is just like, "So what do you like about this Momo-san?" "What do you like about my sister?" Like, "She's pretty nice." Like, "Yeah, that's good." Like, I like the whole thing there. Trying to like set it up with him and her sister, right? And then you get his sister, she's like, "Hey sis, we talked about Momo-san and what's good with her. Maybe you wanna, come in here." And like, "What? You try to take my boyfriend?" That kind of reaction, right? Like, oh my god, this is game. Yeah, his sister's trying to help her, right? It's trying to help her by putting the groundwork in why he should date Momo and Nobe, which is according to her, but his sister. And then to tell his sister, to One-san, I think he likes Momo-san. Maybe you could. "Yeah, you tried to take my boyfriend." It's like, "No, I'm not." What? Oh, so that was great. And also how she goes back and forth with this thing is like, "What, you buying arrogance my sister, you perv?" And like, oh, typical Kieta. The next scene is like, "But you're still mine." Yeah, they go back and forth. It's like hating him and also being but she loves Yama-san. She can't really decide herself. So that scene was much better. The whole scene there, yeah. I think that the whole convenience store scene generally was bad. I like talking about the 87, 8, I think 8, yeah. I think it's 8, right? And so on. Generally a good like narrative, but I think that it kind of felt kind of flat. Like, kind of funny, yeah. It was super cliche, and it was kind of, so that was the weak spot of it. And also even kind of the Urahara scene, for Oscar, but Urahara and him in the coffee, it wasn't that good either. So kind of like, it was really fun. It wasn't needed though for transitional scene, right, between like being in her place, finding out that she is more and so on, but well, not really because it's an idiot, but like that thing, transition scene with Urahara and then back to the next state with his sister, and you kind of need a short minute of break there from those scenes. That is absolutely so. But that scene itself wasn't like super good. It was kind of, he's like, yeah, it's a shocker. I like though when he's like, every damn time is something new with you people. How is it possible? And then of course her punch later was kind of like his face as well. So that was good. But yeah, the episode was good. But it felt like it wasn't like, I just feel it could be funnier. You know, I hope that's what I mean. I feel it's like an 8.5 out of 10 because I feel that it was a good episode. But probably like 5, even to like 10 minutes of it, this could have been funnier, right? It could have been like more exciting jokes. I feel better game references. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't boring at all. I loved the episode. I loved it, but yeah, I liked it a lot. But I didn't love it. I hope I say what I mean. It's like yeah, I laughed most of the way through, but I didn't get this like those kind of super exciting laughs. Like if it was a Konosuba episode, I'm laughing at this level, right? You know, for 20 minutes. It was more like, yeah, I was laughing up here for like 20 minutes. So I felt that was something that felt a little off. I think it's generally the jokes weren't that strong, I think. Especially at grocery store. Like, for example, maybe I just like, maybe call it, it's very biased though, it's not my opinion. But I love football jokes, right? And I felt they could carry that over to the next scene. And she could be like, oh god, this is even more anime. What am I doing? First, falling in love with the delinquent guy I don't like. And no, I accidentally meet him. This is so anime. What should I do? I have to avoid his cliche life. Like that could have been better and so with her. And kind of just dropped it completely. Yeah, and dropped the card. That's probably the most thing. They dropped the transit card because I think that was really funny. She didn't steal it. She was hiding it away purposely. I was like, man, this is a good setup. This is a classic TVF setup. I was like, nothing happens. Like trying to be sneaky. It's like, okay, what? So anyway, I mean, the episode was great, but it felt that it has a few moments that it could be funnier. So see you next week and have a great day.